Hi, welcome to Cooking with Amba. Today I'm going to show you 10 spice mixes everyone should have in their kitchen, which is going to save you cooking time, give you good taste, good flavor, good aroma, and you just love it. So to start off, the first I'm going to teach you is the Kelewele spice. You know, in Ghana we eat a lot of Kelewele, and if you like Kelewele, Charlie, this is the way to go. And I have a Kelewele air fry recipe as well, which has oil free or less oil, which is also very healthy as well. So for my Kelewele spice, I have mustard seeds. I use Anise Seeds, or what we call inkete in Ghana. I also add in cloves, which we also call amba as well. Then, of course, black pepper is very essential. You can't do Kelewele without black pepper, or what we call wisa. Wisa is different from efom wisa. Then we also have Negro Pepper or grains of celery, or what we call locally as hwentia. Then I also have the calabash nutmegs, which also go in, and finally some pepper goes into it. And I'm going to just mix all of this and blend it up. This is a very simple Kelewele spice mix. Now if you want to make it how do I say, very ready to use, you could also add in ginger powder as well, but for me I prefer to use a fresh ginger just to give it a bit of moisture when I'm using it as well. And you know, ginger powder, sometimes when it stays for long, the hot or the heat in there goes down. So once I blend this up, I'm just going to transfer it back into my glassware and then let it cool down. Yes, you can get these glasswares as well. I'll show you a link in my description button. Now to the next one is our millet. If you like Hausa Kooko a lot, this is another spice mix you should be looking out for. My cocoa spice mix, which works for your porridges as well. So I have the grains of paradise, which we call the efom wisa. Then I'm going to use the black pepper, which is called wisa in Ghana. Then you also add in your cloves or amba, or how do you call it? Then you also add in your Negro Pepper or grains of celery, or what we call hwentia. And I always add in the cinnamon to give it that aroma and that flavor and that nutritional fortification as well. And I give it a good blend. So this is like ready to go for your cocoa. If you're doing your millet porridge or your spiced porridges, this is also a great way to go about it. So once this is done blending, I just have to put it aside, let it cool down before I go into the packaging. You see the color is always giving you that cocoa vibes. Now for those of us who like our local drinks, local beverages, this is one sure spice mix to keep at home. So for your lamujin, for your tamarind, for your burkina, for your, how do you call it, zonkum, all of them, this is a spice mix to go with. So I'm going to start off with cloves, which I mentioned earlier, that's amba here. Black pepper, your wisa goes in. Then you have your star anise. The star anise also goes in. Then cinnamon. Cinnamon is great for your drinks. It gives you that small spiciness in there. Then you have the Negro Pepper, what we call hwentia here. That is also very much key in there. So this spice mix is great for your local drinks, like I made mention, your local juices. When it comes to your rice, your millet, lamujin, zonkum, sobolo, ningina, etefa. And I have all of these recipes as well on the channel, which you can check as well. So I'm just going to mill this up, and then I transfer it again. Then I let it cool down as well. Please make sure you let this thing cool down before you package it. Now if you love pastries, whether it's from pies to chips to anything pastry, this is a spice mix. So for the pastries, I'm using two types of nutmegs, the calabash nutmeg and then the mother nutmeg, the main nutmeg. So those also go in. Then of course some cloves or amba, they are also very essential in there. And for my pies, one key thing that goes in is the white pepper and black pepper. If you've not seen white pepper before, that's how it looks. It's just the white version of the black pepper. Then I also top it up with my cinnamon. Cinnamon goes great with any big stuff. And then the anise seeds or nkete just a bit of it is also good in there. Rosemary is going to help give you that, that aromatic vibe in your pies and all those ones. And of course, I add in some mustard seeds. Mustard seeds are also great when it comes to your pastries. And I'm going to also add in some thyme, yes, in there as well. Then some crushed dried basils. Yes, basil is also good when it comes to pastries. And finally, I'm going to add in turmeric powder, because when you're doing your pie, your chips and all those ones, usually you'd like the golden yellow color, and so your turmeric is going to give you that vibe as well. Then I just mill it all up and then I let it cool down. So whenever you want to do your pie, all you need is what? Your flour, a bit of salt, and then a tablespoon or a teaspoon, depending on the quantity you're doing, and then you're good to go. Now, for those of us who like seafood, yes, I'm a heavy seafood lover, and I have a lot of seafood recipes on the channel. This is one must-have spice mix for your seafood as well, from shrimps, octopus, sea snails, you need it. So for your seafood, you need your cloves or your paraguay, but you also need some hwentia in there as well. Calabash nutmeg is very essential. A lot of it is needed in there. Bay leaves are also very essential when you are seasoning seafood. Yes, and when it comes to seafood, you also need your wisa, or what we call black pepper. I added some fenugreek seeds because those also help when it comes to seafood, and some mustard seeds as well. It's also going in there. Then I top it up with some inketi or anise seeds. And most importantly, you need the rosemary for the aromatics as well. You need the star anise in there as well. And I'm going to just jumble all of this up and then blend it. So when you have this set and you want to even season your octopus or your pusinam in there, then you just cook it and you're good to go. So I was struggling blending it in the smaller mill because this was good. This was quite a quantity in there, so I had to use the bigger one to just go about it. Now, when it comes to your spices, I think you don't need to get it like powder smooth. That's one thing, so don't worry about it when it comes to those ones. Then for those of us who like meat a lot, whether it is a ponche, it is how do you call it, pork, it is enambia meat, red meat especially, and lean meat for your grills, for your fries and all the meat-based proteins. This is also very essential. Bay leaves are a must-have when it comes to your meat in there. Bay leaves are a must-have in there. Then I go in with my rosemary, which is going to help with the aromatics in there as well. And rosemary, I don't know the key name, so pardon me. They also have the black pepper or the wisa, which is also going to go in, which is the king of spices. You also have the cloves or perigo amba also going in. Then you're going to continue by adding the fennel seeds. Yes, they look greenish in color, the fennel seeds. And then some mustard seeds. Yes, mustard seeds are also very essential in there. Then my key ingredient is also the calabash nutmeg, what we call the red amba over here. Then hwentia or the grains of Salem or Negro Pepper, how you choose to call it. Some thyme. Yes, thyme is also very essential for our meats as well. And you can't do meat without Anise Seeds or Enge guy. Then I'm going to top it up with the, the main one, the star anise itself, aside the seeds. Then coriander. Yes, coriander seeds are also very essential in here as well. Then I'm also adding in some fenugreek seeds. Yes, fenugreek seeds. And finally, I'm going to add in some turmeric powder as well. This is a homemade turmeric powder. You can check it out on my channel. I've taught you how to do it. So because it's a big quantity, I just place it into the big mill, the big blender, and then I just milled it all up. And like I said, when it comes to something like the meat, your seafood, and those ones, you don't really need your spice mix to be too smooth. And naturally, I don't like to blend my spice mixes too smooth because you may lose out on the flavoring when it sits or it stays for too long on your shelf. So be mindful of that. So the next thing is our fish spices. If you like fish or if you love fish, whether it's for your fante, it's for your fried fish, it's your cooked fish, you can even check out my microwaved fish all of them, this is your fish spice to go with. Definitely, we're going to have to start with the king of spice, which is the black pepper or a wisa. Then you need some bay leaves. Bay leaves are good for proteins in there as well. Then I'm going to add the coriander seeds. Yes, coriander seeds are very unique, and when you go to market, you easily see it. They are not expensive as well. We also have the hwentia or the grains of selim. Then we have rosemary. Rosemary is going to help with aromatics in there, and the fennel seeds are also going in here as well. And I'm going to continue with the cloves or the prego amba. Yes, that amba or something. That's how the trees call it. Then the calabash nutmegs is also very essential in there. Fenugreek seeds also go in as well for our fish spice. And then I'm going to continue with some thyme. Yes, some good old thyme is also very great in for our fish spice. I'm going to add the star anise in there as well. And yes, so I added in extra rosemary. Yes, because I was doing a bigger batch and I really wanted the aroma to be great when I'm making my fish meals. And I added in the mustard seeds as well, and then the nkete or the anise seeds also go in there aside the star anise. And finally, my turmeric powder goes in as well. I'm just going to mix all of this up, and then it goes into my blender, which helps me mill everything smooth and dry. Then I'm just going to pour this and then let it cool down before I package it. If you like chicken or poultry based products, whether it is turkey, chicken, guinea fowl, yes, this is the spice mix to go with. And you need coriander seeds. Coriander seeds are super when it comes to chicken. You need bay leaves because it's a proteins. Bay leaves are very essential in there. And then we're going to go with the the anise seeds or the nkete. They are also very essential. The rosemary, you can't do chicken without rosemary. Ah, my guy. Then king of spice, which is the black pepper or the wisa, is also going to go in. The fenugreek seeds are going to go in as well. I've got the cloves or prego amba or dadwamba, how you call it in your local dialect. The hwentia is also going in. The grains of selim. Thyme, yes, some good old thyme is also very essential in there as well. Then the star anise, a bit of it also goes in, and mustard seeds. Mustard seeds are very essential in here as well. And I've got the calabash nutmeg or the red amba, which I'm going to throw some in because that's going to help with the yin vibes. And finally, some turmeric as well. You know, turmeric. And one thing is turmeric does great when it comes to our chicken and those ones, the poultry. It doesn't also make it look too whitish when you're done. So it's also very key in there. I'm just going to blend this up, and then I'm going to let it sit and cool before I package it. So when you're going to season your chicken or your poultry, your quail, any poultry bird, this is the spice mix to go with. Now, you know, in Ghana, we take a lot of stews, our jollof, our contombre, any stew you want to do, any gravy you want to do, this is the spice mix to go with. So you need rosemary, a good amount of rosemary. Some coriander seeds is very important. Cardamom or cardamom, how you want to pronounce it. Anise seeds and nkete. Then I use some dried crushed prekese. Yes, dried crushed prekese, which is on my channel, how to do it. The black pepper, I also add in the fenugreek seeds. The cloves or prego amba also goes in. Then your hwentia or your Negro Pepper also goes in. And your dried crushed basils, they are very essential in there as well. Cumin seeds, I add some in there. Mustard seeds, I add some in there. And nutmegs, the local nutmegs, calabash nutmegs goes in. A bit of the grains of paradise or the efom wisa, a bit of thyme also goes in. And finally, some turmeric powder also goes in. You can use your dried turmeric, your fresh dried turmeric as well. The most important thing is all your spice ingredients should be as dried as possible. And so I'm going to give this a good blend, a good meal. And when I'm done, I'm going to cast it aside, let it sit, and then let it cool down. So, you know, Ghanaians, we take a lot of chicken, a lot of other lean proteins, and these goes well with lean proteins as well. Now for our soups, yes, you can't make any great soup without this spice mix, trust me. Whether it's pork soup, light soup, groundnut soup, palmer soup, for your soups, this is also very essential. So for soups, the precursor is key. So I have the dried crushed precursor. I also have the Negro Pepper or hwentia going in, Coriander Seeds I added in, then some dried and crushed basils also go in there. Rosemary is essential in there for our soups, and mustard seeds. Mustard seeds are also very essential in there. King of spice, extra wisa, everywhere a day. Then the star anise also goes in as well. Then the cloves or the amba or the amba. Then of course efom wisa is also in, just a little bit of it. Then kete also goes in, or the anise seeds. The calabash nutmeg, which we call the amba. The fenugreek seeds also goes in. Fennel seeds also adds up in there. Of course, some good old thyme always goes in perfectly. And finally, my turmeric powder also goes in. So I'm just going to mix this up and then I'm going to blend it. Now this soup spice mix is super duper good. And the precursor, you can check it on my channel. So usually when I do the dried precursor, what happens when I mill it, the chaffy part or the rough part, that's what I keep for my spice mixes, and for the smooth part I use it for my teas and all those ones. So how do we package our spice mixes? So to the packaging, like I said, once you're done doing it, you need to set it aside and let it cool. Get your containers, whether it's plastic, make sure it's airtight, and then you put it in. If not, you can get some mason jars or some glass jars, some jam jars, jar biawa, which is clean and sterile. You need to also make sure that it's clean and sterile, and you pack it in. And when you're done, you can label it with even your tape. So I use masking tape in here. I had to just improvise. Just label it so that you'll be able to see what spice is for what in there as well. I won't recommend you do it too much. Have a sizable amount such that within 6 months or 1 year it is done with, and then you can do and use it. It's not good to have your spice powders over a year. They lose their taste and all those ones. And most importantly, you need to also be careful when it comes to where you keep it. Keep it away from the light, keep it away from the sun, and make sure that you incorporate more of these natural spices rather than your bouillon cubes or your artificial flavorings in there as well. So till I see you in the next food video, do live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry. Lots of love for my team and I. Mwah.